Hey everyone! You know how much we love digging into the past, right? Unearthing secrets, piecing together the puzzle of history. But what if I told you some of the pieces were fake? That's right. Certain facts we learned in school, saw in movies, maybe even repeated at parties, are totally bogus. Over time, these myths get repeated, shared on social media, and boom, they become ingrained in our understanding of the past. But today, we're fighting back against misinformation, one historical myth at a time. Stick around because at the end, I've got a World War II myth that'll blow your mind. In this video, we're exposing 10 of the most popular fake history myths and revealing the surprising truth behind them. Alright, let's start with a classic Marie Antoinette and the infamous "let them eat cake" line. Picture it. France on the verge of revolution, peasants starving, and the Queen, clueless and out of touch, utters those words. It's a perfect encapsulation of royal indifference, right? Except she never said it. The quote actually pops up earlier, attributed to philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, written when Marie was just a kid. It's amazing how a good, or in this case, bad quote, can stick around and become part of history even when it's totally inaccurate. Now beam me up to the 20th century. Star Trek, that iconic sci-fi universe pushing boundaries and boldly going where no one had gone before. We all remember that groundbreaking kiss between Captain Kirk and Lieutenant Uhura in 1968, right? This was a landmark moment in television history, showing an interracial kiss in a time when it was still taboo. But hold on a minute. While incredibly significant, it wasn't the first interracial kiss on TV. That honor goes to Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, the real-life couple who brought us I Love Lucy back in the 1950s. It just goes to show, sometimes the real story is even more surprising than the one we've come to accept. Let's hop across the pond to Scandinavia, home of the fierce Vikings. You know, the image muscular warriors, longboats, and those iconic horned helmets, right? Well, here's the catch. Those horned helmets are about as real as unicorns. No archaeological dig, no ancient artwork, nothing supports their existence. Blame it on 19th century opera. Costume designers, wanting to make Vikings look more dramatic and, let's face it, more terrifying, slapped those horns on their helmets. Real Viking helmets, based on the few fragments we have, were much simpler, more practical. Now let's travel back in time to ancient Rome, a city of grandeur and, well, occasional fires. Speaking of fires, we've all heard the story of Emperor Nero fiddling while Rome burned, right? Painting him as a heartless tyrant, indifferent to the suffering of his people. Except it never happened. First off, fiddles as we know them didn't exist in ancient Rome. Nero was a musician, but his instrument of choice was the lyre. Second, he wasn't even in Rome when the Great Fire broke out. He rushed back to organize relief efforts, even opening up his own palace to house the homeless, and provided food. The myth likely gained traction because of Nero's later reputation for tyranny, and Roman historians may have exaggerated or invented the tale to make him look worse. So, while Nero had plenty of faults, playing music while his city burned wasn't one of them. Now let's journey to Egypt, land of pharaohs, pyramids, and of course the enigmatic Sphinx. This colossal statue, with its lion's body and human head, has guarded the Giza Plateau for millennia. But there's one detail that's often attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte, the Sphinx's missing nose. The story goes that Napoleon, in a fit of either arrogance or cultural insensitivity, ordered his troops to use the Sphinx for target practice, blasting its nose off. Except, it's completely false. Sketches dating back to the 1730s, long before Napoleon was even born, show the Sphinx without its nose. The real culprit? We might never know for sure. Some blame medieval iconoclasts, others point to natural erosion. But one thing is certain, Napoleon didn't do it. This myth has stuck around because it's emotionally powerful and politically charged, but it's a historical fabrication. Time to flush out another myth, this one involving the humble toilet. Yes, that's right. Even the history of plumbing has its share of inaccuracies. Ever heard the name Thomas Crapper? Many believe he invented the flush toilet, thanks to his unfortunate last name. While Crapper was a real plumber in Victorian England who made significant improvements to plumbing systems, he didn't invent the toilet. That credit goes to Sir John Harington, who created a working flush toilet for Queen Elizabeth I back in the 16th century. Let's address a myth that's well, kind of gone viral in recent years. The idea that people in the Middle Ages believed the Earth was flat. You've probably seen the memes, the jokes, the whole fall off the edge of the world thing. But here's the truth. Educated people in the Middle Ages knew the Earth was a sphere. It was basic knowledge passed down from ancient Greek and Roman scholars. The Church, often blamed for promoting a flat Earth view, actually held no such belief. This myth gained traction in the 19th century, part of a movement to portray the Middle Ages as a time of ignorance and superstition. Now, let's delve into a darker chapter, exploring a device straight out of our nightmares, the Iron Maiden. This coffin-like contraption, lined with spikes designed to pierce its victim, has become synonymous with medieval torture. But hold on. Historians now believe the Iron Maiden never actually existed in the Middle Ages. No contemporary accounts mention it, and no archaeological evidence supports its existence. It seems the Iron Maiden was a 19th century invention, created to spice up museum exhibits and attract curious and perhaps slightly morbid visitors. Let's shift gears and talk about infrastructure, specifically Germany's famed Autobahn. This network of high-speed highways is often attributed to Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, touted as an example of their efficiency and modernity. While it's true that the Nazis expanded the Autobahn network significantly, they didn't invent it. Construction on the first sections began in the 1920s, years before Hitler came to power. The Nazis, masters of propaganda, recognized the Autobahn's potential, both as a symbol of national pride and as a tool for military transport. Now for that World War II myth I promised, the misconception that Nazi Germany invented concentration camps. While it's true that the Nazis refined the horrors of concentration camps, transforming them into industrialized killing machines during the Holocaust, the concept existed long before. The Spanish used concentration camps in Cuba during the late 19th century, and the British implemented them during the Boer War in South Africa. These earlier camps were brutal, inhumane places, designed to imprison and control civilian populations. The Nazis, however, took this cruelty to a whole new level, utilizing camps for systematic genocide on an unprecedented scale. So there you have it. 10 historical myths debunked. It's amazing how these inaccuracies take hold, spreading like cosmic background radiation through the universe of knowledge. But by approaching history with a critical eye, by questioning what we think we know, we can get closer to the truth. And often that truth is far more interesting, more nuanced, and more mind-blowing than the myths we've come to believe. So the next time someone drops a fun history fact, you might want to double-check it. Drop a comment below. Which myth surprised you the most? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more fake history debunked.